Why are you still standing in the hallway of your own life, waiting for someone to open the door? You have spent years, perhaps decades, glancing at your watch, looking over your shoulder, and scanning the horizon for a savior who does not exist. You have been waiting for a permission slip from the universe. You have been waiting for someone to notice your hidden talent, to validate your silent pain, to choose you for the team, or to crown you as worthy of the abundance you secretly desire. But I am here to deliver a message that will shatter this illusion forever, and perhaps save the remainder of your years from the tragedy of regret. The reason you are still waiting is not because the world is blind to your value. It is not because the economy is against you. It is not because you lack the raw material of greatness. It is because you have not yet declared your value. You are suffering from a disease of the will that affects 98% of the population. You believe that authority is something that is given, bestowed by a committee, granted by a title, or handed down by a mentor. But authority is never given. It is seized. It is assumed. It is taken by the man who finally realizes that he is the only one holding the keys to his own chains. This speech is an indictment of your hesitation. It exposes every lie you have told yourself about why you have not built the life you want. You say you are waiting for the right time, but there is no such thing as the right time, only the present time which you are wasting. You say you are waiting for the economy to turn, but the master of wealth creates his own economy regardless of the market. You say you are waiting until you feel ready, but readiness is a myth created by the fearful to justify their paralysis. Let me strip away these alibis right now. Every delay, every hesitation, every moment of doubt was not imposed upon you by the world. It was created by you. It is a defense mechanism designed to keep you safe, small, and silent. You have been hypnotized by the rhythm of mediocrity. You have been trained from the time you were a small child to ask for permission to speak, permission to move, and permission to succeed. You raised your hand in school to ask to use the restroom, and now, 30 years later, you are still raising your hand waiting for permission to build your empire. But look at the men who built this world. Look at the titans like Ford, Edison, and Carnegie. They never raised their hands. They never asked for permission. They declared their intentions, and they forced the world to adapt to them. When this broadcast is finished, you will no longer be the same person. You will no longer ask to be seen, because you will understand that visibility is a byproduct of power, not the cause of it. You will act as one who cannot be ignored. You will stop drifting through your days like a leaf in the wind. You will stop apologizing for your ambition. You will stop hiding your light under the bushel of modesty. You will choose yourself, and for the first time in your life, you will mean it with every fiber of your being. Listen closely, for the rest of your life depends on what you do in the next hour. Until you choose yourself, you will spend your entire existence begging others to validate you. And life does not reward the beggar. Life rewards the commander. No king was ever crowned by a committee of his peers. He crowned himself with decision, action, and law. This is what it means to finally choose yourself. You were not sent here to seek approval. You were born to demonstrate dominion. Most people live in a state of suspended animation. They are technically alive, but spiritually they are on hold. They are waiting for the big break. This is the most dangerous lie in the history of success. The belief that one day, a magical event will occur, a lottery win, a chance meeting, a viral moment that will sweep you up and place you on the mountaintop without any effort on your part. This is the fantasy of the child, and you must put away childish things. There is no rescue boat coming. You are currently drowning in a sea of your own indecision, and you are waiting for a lifeguard, but the lifeguard is you. The moment you realize that no one is coming to save you is the most terrifying moment of your life, but it is also the most liberating, because if no one is coming, then you are free to save yourself. You are free to stop looking outward and start looking inward. You are free to stop acting like a victim of circumstance and start acting like the architect of your destiny. You must understand the psychology of why you wait. You wait because it feels safe. As long as you are waiting for permission, you are not responsible for the outcome. If you wait to be chosen and no one chooses you, you can blame the system. You can blame the gatekeepers. You can say, I had so much potential, but they never gave me a chance. This is the comfort of the coward. It allows you to die with your potential intact, but unspent. But the man who chooses himself takes full responsibility. If he fails, it is on him. If he falls, it is his fault. This responsibility is heavy, yes, but it is the weight of the crown. You cannot wear the crown if you are not willing to bear the weight. You have been avoiding this weight. You have been hiding behind the alibi of not being ready. But let me tell you a secret. You will never feel ready. You will never feel fully prepared. Readiness is not a feeling, it is a decision. You create readiness by moving. You create confidence by doing the thing you are afraid to do. Consider the cost of your waiting. What has it cost you already? It has cost you years of your prime. It has cost you millions of dollars in lost income. It has cost you the respect of your peers. And more importantly, the respect of the person looking back at you in the mirror. Every time you hesitate, you signal to your subconscious mind that you are not to be trusted. You signal that you are a subordinate, a follower, a drifter. And your subconscious mind obeys this signal by creating more fear, more doubt, and more hesitation. It is a vicious cycle, a hypnotic rhythm that pulls you deeper into the abyss of mediocrity. Today, we break that rhythm. Today, we smash the clock. There is no someday, there is only now. Someday is a code word for never. The man who says he will start someday is telling you he has surrendered. You must delete the word someday from your vocabulary and replace it with the word today. The world does not see what you will not show. It does not follow the man who will not command himself. You tell yourself that one day you will rise, that one day the world will recognize your gifts. But the world is busy. The world is distracted. The world is looking for leadership. It is looking for someone who knows where they are going so it can follow them. If you are standing still, waiting for directions, you are invisible. You are part of the scenery. To become visible, you must become a force in motion. A moving object attracts attention. A moving object generates energy. A moving object breaks through barriers. You must become a moving object. You must become a force of nature. You must stop asking, may I, and start saying, I will. This transformation requires a death. The person you are right now, the person who is addicted to approval, the person who is terrified of criticism, that person must die. You cannot build a new life on the foundation of your old identity. You must be willing to burn the old self to the ground. You must be willing to walk away from the people who enable your weakness. You must be willing to be misunderstood, ridiculed, and ignored. Because in the beginning, when you first crown yourself, the world will laugh. They will say, who does he think he is? They will say, he is arrogant. They will say, he is deluded. Let them speak. Their words are the wind. Your results will be the wall. Eventually the wind dies down, but the wall stands. Eventually the critics become silence, but the empire remains. You are building the empire. Do not confuse this self-choice with arrogance. Arrogance is the noise of the insecure. Arrogance is demanding respect you have not earned. Self-choice is the quiet confidence of the man who knows his own law. It is the refusal to settle for less than your design. It is the spiritual understanding that you were created with a purpose, and that to ignore that purpose is a sin against your Creator. You were given a mind to think, a will to decide, and hands to build. To let these tools rust while you wait for a permission slip is the ultimate tragedy. You are the gatekeeper of your own life. You have been standing outside the gate, begging to be let in, not realizing that the key has been in your pocket the entire time. Unlock the gate. Walk through. Claim the territory that belongs to you. The illusion of waiting is a prison with no bars. You can walk out at any time. You can walk out right now. But walking out requires you to leave behind your excuses. It requires you to leave behind the comfort of being a victim. It requires you to step into the cold, harsh light of total responsibility. This is why so few do it. This is why the masses drift while the few command. But you are not the masses. You are here, listening to this, which means there is a spark in you that refuses to be extinguished. There is a voice in you that is tired of the lies. There is a king in you that is tired of living like a peasant. Listen to that voice. Feed that spark. Crown that king. What you need is not more knowledge. You have read enough books. You have watched enough videos. You have attended enough seminars. You are intellectually obese with knowledge that you have never exercised. What you need is not more information. What you need is a final, definite decision. A decision that cuts off all possibility of retreat. A decision that says, I choose myself now and forever. From that moment forward, the man who walked in hesitation is dead. The man who apologized for his existence is dead. The new man is born. The new man acts. The new man commands. The new man builds. This is not a metaphor. This is a literal shift in your frequency. When you make this decision, the universe shifts to accommodate you. Doors that were locked suddenly open. Opportunities that were hidden suddenly appear. Not because the world changed, but because you changed. You became the kind of person who can see the doors. You became the kind of person who can hold the opportunity. So I ask you again, as we prepare to enter the laws of power, why are you still waiting? Who are you waiting for? Look around the room you are in. Look at the empty air. There is no one there. There is only you. You are the project. You are the architect. You are the builder. And you are the obstacle. Move the obstacle. Step into your power. Stop drifting. Stop hesitating. Stop begging. Choose yourself. And let the world witness what happens when a man finally decides that he is no longer for sale, no longer on hold, and no longer sleeping on his purpose. The coronation begins now. We begin with the first decree, which is the foundation of all personal power and the bedrock upon which every fortune in history has been built. This is the decree of self-selection. You must understand that you were born into a world that is designed to strip you of your sovereignty. From the moment you entered the school system, you were conditioned to believe that authority is external. You were taught that you must study what others tell you to study, that you must wait for a grade to determine your intelligence, and that you must wait for a diploma to determine your worth. This conditioning has followed you into adulthood. You believe that you need a license to practice greatness. You believe that you need a title to demonstrate leadership. You believe that you need the permission of a gatekeeper to enter the palace of wealth. But I am here to tell you that the gatekeepers are a myth. The door is unlocked. The only thing keeping you outside is your refusal to walk through it. The first decree states that you must appoint yourself. You must crown yourself. You must authorize yourself. The tragedy of the modern man is that he walks through life like a ghost, waiting for someone to acknowledge his existence. He works hard, he hopes, he prays, but he never demands. He believes that if he is good enough, quiet enough, and obedient enough, the world will eventually reward him. But the world does not reward obedience. It rewards command. The world does not choose builders. It simply responds to them. It bends for those who bend themselves to a decision. It follows the man who commands himself before anyone else ever does. If you wait to be picked, you will rot in obscurity. Because power is self-bestowed. No one walked up to Andrew Carnegie and handed him a certificate that said he was allowed to be the Steel King. He decided he was the Steel King, and then he built the reality to match his decision. No one told Thomas Edison he was allowed to invent the light bulb. He appointed himself as the inventor, and nature yielded to his appointment. You must realize that there is a tragic mistake that most men make regarding confidence. They believe that confidence comes from praise. They believe that leadership comes from popularity. They believe that clarity comes from consensus. They wait for the applause before they perform. But the truth is far more brutal and far more glorious. All power begins when one man decides to believe in himself without applause, without approval, and without evidence. This is the hardest thing you will ever do. It is easy to believe in yourself when your bank account is full and everyone loves you. But can you believe in yourself when the account is empty and the world is silent? That is the test. That is the fire that burns away the drifter and reveals the king. When Henry Ford began his work on the internal combustion engine, no one believed in him. He was ridiculed. He was mocked by the intellectuals of his day. They called him a dreamer. They warned him that he was wasting his time on a foolish contraption. If Ford had waited for social validation, if he had waited for the experts to agree with him, he would have died a mechanic. But he did not require their belief because he had his own. This brings us to the core of the first decree. I believe in my mind more than I fear the opinions of others. You must reach a point of psychological independence where your internal standard is louder than the external noise. Ford did not need the world to choose him. He chose himself, and he backed that choice with tireless effort, definite purpose, and a refusal to turn back. While other men delayed until they were ready, he moved with clarity, forged in defiance. That is why he became the builder of an empire, while the doubters became footnotes in his biography. Now I ask you, when will you choose yourself? When will you decide that the delay is no longer dignified? When will you decide that the uncertainty is no longer acceptable? The waiting is not strategy. It is cowardice dressed as prudence. Every moment you hesitate is a moment stolen from your own dominion, and dominion is only given to the man who declares it. Understand that the world is a neutral mirror. It has no opinion of you other than the opinion you have of yourself. If you walk into a room with apology in your posture, the world will treat you like a servant. If you walk into a room with hesitation in your voice, the world will ignore you. But if you walk into that same room with the energy of a man who has already chosen himself, the world will pivot to face you. You teach the world how to treat you by how you treat yourself. If you are discounting your own value, do not be surprised when the marketplace discounts you. You are the one setting the price. You are the merchant of your own life. If you put a clearance sale sign on your forehead, you will attract bargain hunters. If you put a high value sign on your forehead, you will attract wealth. But you cannot fake this sign. It must be written in the ink of your conviction. Most men live as if they are waiting for some external force to grant them authority. They are waiting for a mentor to say, "You are ready." They are waiting for a publisher to say, "You are a writer." They are waiting for an investor to say, "You are an entrepreneur." But the truth is, you are the authority. And if you do not declare it, no one else will. To choose yourself is not a feeling. It is a contract. It is a legal document in the court of the universe. It is a written, signed, dated command, a law you create and obey. And if you have not written it, if you have not declared it, if you have not signed your name under your own definite chief aim, then you are still drifting. You are still waiting. You are still lying to yourself about your intentions. This leads us to the practical application of this decree. You must go now and write your aim. Write your law. Then beneath that law, sign your name. Not in ink, but in promise, in identity, in fire. Your signature means this: I choose this path even if no one else does. I walk it alone if I must. I obey the vision, not the world. You say you want purpose. You say you want freedom. You say you want to change your life. But you cannot have these things if you do not first choose yourself. Not as a passing emotion, but as a binding oath. That oath is not to be broken. That oath is what separates the drifter from the builder, the broadcaster from the king. You must understand that every great man you admire did not begin great. He began alone, in doubt, in obscurity. But what made him powerful was not applause. It was a private decision that he was no longer available for mediocrity. He decided that he was no longer willing to betray himself for the comfort of others. Think of the isolation of the leader. To choose yourself often means to walk away from the herd. The herd is warm. The herd is safe. But the herd is going nowhere. The herd is drifting toward the cliff of mediocrity. To step out of the herd and say, "I am going this way," requires a courage that most men do not possess. But you must possess it. You must be willing to be misunderstood. You must be willing to be called arrogant. You must be willing to be called crazy. These are the badges of honor for the self-selected man. This first decree strips you of your victimhood. As long as you are waiting to be chosen, you are a victim of the chooser. If they choose you, you rise. If they ignore you, you fall. You are a puppet on a string, but when you choose yourself, you cut the strings. You become the master of your fate. You become the captain of your soul. This is a terrifying freedom because you no longer have anyone to blame. If you fail, it is your fault. But it is also a magnificent freedom because if you succeed, it is your victory. You are no longer trading your potential for approval. You are trading your life for your legacy. From this day forward, if you wait for anyone to give you permission, you have broken the law of self-choice. From this day forward, if you downplay your dream in order to be accepted by small minds, you have surrendered your own throne. From this day forward, you speak and act and walk as the one who has already chosen himself. You are not asking to be accepted. You are building a life that makes acceptance irrelevant. You are not waiting to be invited to the table. You are building your own table. You are not begging to be seen. You are living in such obedience to your purpose that your results cannot be ignored. Look at the mechanics of this choice. It changes your physiology. When a man chooses himself, his voice drops an octave, his spine straightens, his eyes stop darting around the room looking for validation and instead lock onto his target. He moves with economy. He stops fidgeting. He stops explaining himself. He simply is. This presence is what we call charisma, but it is really just the absence of doubt. It is the magnetic quality of a man who is at one with his own decision. The world is starving for this energy. The world is filled with people who are unsure, confused, and anxious. When they see a man who is sure, who is definite, who is self-selected, they are drawn to him like moths to a flame. They want to follow him because he provides the certainty they lack. By choosing yourself, you become a leader by default. But be warned, this choice must be renewed every day. You do not crown yourself once and then forget it. You must wake up every morning and put the crown back on your head, because every morning the world will try to knock it off. The news will try to scare you. The critics will try to shame you. Your own doubts will try to undermine you. You must look in the mirror every single morning and re-ratify the contract. You must say, I am the one I have been waiting for. You must say, I am the builder. You must say, I am the authority. This daily ritual of self-coronation is what keeps the drifter at bay. It is what keeps the fire burning. So I say to you now, stop looking for a savior. Stop looking for a sign. You are the sign. The fact that you have a desire in your heart is the only permission slip you need. The fact that you can imagine a better life is the only evidence required that you are capable of building it. Do not insult the Creator by asking for more proof. You have been given the raw materials. You have been given the time. The rest is up to you. You are the gatekeeper. Open the gate. Walk through. Claim your territory. The first decree is passed. The law is set. You are chosen because you said so. Now, let us move to the second law and destroy the excuses that threaten to undo this choice. We have established the first decree. You have chosen yourself. You have placed the crown of authority upon your own head. But now, you must defend that crown against the usurper that lives within your own walls. This usurper is not a person. It is a habit. It is a mental addiction that has comforted you in your failures and justified your mediocrity for years. We now enter the second decree, the death of the alibi. You must understand that you cannot hold a crown in one hand and an excuse in the other. They are spiritually incompatible. The moment you choose yourself, you forfeit the right to blame. This is the hardest transaction you will ever make, because the human ego loves blame. The ego treats blame like a warm blanket on a cold night. It wraps itself in the injustice of the world to avoid shivering in the cold wind of responsibility. But you are no longer a child seeking warmth. You are a commander seeking conquest. And a commander knows that an alibi is nothing more than a treacherous lie that you tell yourself to make the prison of your circumstances feel comfortable. Let us define the alibi. An alibi is a justifiable reason for failure. It is a defense mechanism constructed by the subconscious mind to protect your self-esteem from the brutal truth that you simply did not do the work. If you ask the average man why he is not wealthy, why he is not fit, or why he is not happy, he will not simply say, I chose comfort over discipline. No. He will open his mental library and pull out a dusty volume called the Book of Alibis. He will read to you a beautifully tragic story about his lack of education, his poor upbringing, the state of the economy, the unfairness of his boss, or the bad luck that seems to follow him. He recites these reasons with passion. He believes them. And because he believes them, they become the bars of his cage. But the second decree demands that you burn this book. You must realize that your alibis are the most expensive things you own. They have cost you your potential. They have cost you your fortune. They have cost you your legacy. The chosen man does not blame, he builds. Blame is the shield of the uncommitted. It is the voice of the drifter. It is the vocabulary of those who never chose with force. For as long as you blame, you are admitting that someone else holds power over you. Consider the mechanics of power. If you say, "I am poor because the economy is bad," you are stating that the economy is your master. You are stating that your financial destiny is subject to the whims of the market. You have abdicated your throne to a graph on a screen. If you say, "I am unhappy because my parents did not love me enough," you are stating that your emotional state is enslaved to the past actions of two flawed human beings. You are letting ghosts rule your house. To choose yourself means to take back every ounce of power you have outsourced to your circumstances. A man cannot say, "I am the commander of my world," and then say, "But my results are because of him or her." That is a spiritual contradiction. That is lawlessness in the soul. And wherever contradiction exists, confusion follows and power disappears. You must look at the seductive nature of sympathy. Why do we cling to our alibis? Because they buy us sympathy. When you tell people how hard you have it, how unfair the world has been to you, they pat you on the back. They say, "It's not your fault." They offer you the poison of pity, and you drink it because it tastes sweet. It numbs the pain of your own inaction. But pity is the drug that kills ambition. The chosen man does not want pity. He wants respect. And respect is only given to the man who accepts full responsibility for his position. You must decide today. Do you want to be cuddled, or do you want to be crowned? Do you want people to feel sorry for you, or do you want people to follow you? You cannot have both. The moment you accept responsibility, you lose the comfort of the victim, but you gain the power of the victor. Let us look at the archetype of the builder. Abraham Lincoln is the supreme example of the death of the alibi. Born in a dirt floor cabin, self-educated, ugly by the standards of his time, prone to deep melancholy, and defeated in business and politics time and time again. Lincoln had 1,000 valid alibis. He could have claimed that his background disqualified him. He could have claimed that his depression incapacitated him. He could have blamed his political enemies for his losses. But Lincoln never used an alibi. He internalized every defeat. He asked himself, "What did I lack? What must I learn? How must I improve?" He treated every failure not as an injustice, but as feedback. Because he refused to blame the world, he retained the power to change his world. He accepted the full burden of a fractured nation because he had already learned to carry the full burden of his own life. This is the contract of the second decree. When you crown yourself, you sign a contract that reads, "From this moment forward, I am the cause of my life, and every result, whether wealth or weakness, glory or failure, is mine to own." This is what I call radical responsibility. It means that if it rains on your parade, it is your fault for not bringing an umbrella. It means that if your business fails, it is not the market's fault. It is your fault for not adapting. It means that if your relationships are toxic, it is your fault for tolerating them. This sounds harsh to the weak ear, but to the strong ear, this is the sound of liberation. Because if you are the cause of your misery, then you are also the cure. If you created the mess, you can create the masterpiece. The moment you say, "I did this," you also say, "I can fix this." Responsibility is the only thing that gives you leverage on your life. You must now audit your life for hidden alibis. They are often disguised as facts. You might say, "It is a fact that I am too old to start." Is it? Or is that an alibi, using biology as a mask for fear? Colonel Sanders started franchising at 62. Ray Kroc built McDonald's in his 50s. Age is an alibi. You might say, it is a fact that I have no money. Is it? Or is that an alibi using accounting as a mask for a lack of creativity? Many of the greatest fortunes were built on credit, on partnership, on sheer hustle with zero capital. Money is an alibi. You might say, it is a fact that I am not smart enough. Henry Ford had barely any schooling, yet he employed the smartest engineers in the world. Education is an alibi. You must ruthlessly interrogate every reason you have for not being where you want to be. Shine the light of truth on them, and you will see them scurry away like cockroaches. They cannot survive the light of responsibility. The subconscious mind observes your relationship with responsibility. If you are a man who constantly passes the buck, your subconscious labels you as a subordinate. It says, this man is not in charge, therefore, I will not give him the energy of command. This is why drifters feel tired all the time. They are leaking energy through the holes of their excuses. But when you accept responsibility, even for things that seem unfair, your subconscious labels you as the master. It releases reserves of energy, creativity, and resilience that you did not know you possessed. The weight of responsibility builds spiritual muscle. You cannot get strong by lifting light weights, and you cannot get powerful by carrying light burdens. Stop trying to make your load lighter. Ask for a stronger back. The alibi is the prayer for a lighter load. The decree is the command for a stronger back. You must also understand that alibis are contagious. If you surround yourself with people who blame the government, the system, and their bosses, you will become infected. You will start to speak their language. You will start to see yourself as a victim. The second decree requires you to quarantine yourself from the complainers. You must become allergic to the sound of excuses. When you hear another man blaming his circumstances, do not nod in agreement. Recognize it for what it is. The sound of a man surrendering his sword. Do not join him in his surrender. Stand firm in your sovereignty. You are building a culture of one, and in your culture, excuses are treason. The death of the alibi creates a vacuum. When you stop using your energy to invent excuses, you have a massive surplus of mental power available. What do you do with it? You direct it into execution. The time you used to spend complaining about the problem is now spent solving the problem. The energy you used to spend feeling sorry for yourself is now spent building your vision. This is the efficiency of the master. He does not waste a single calorie on why it happened. He spends all his calories on what happens next. The past is a dead issue to him. The alibi is an obsession with the past. The decree is an obsession with the future. Let me give you the specific instruction for this decree. You must catch yourself in the act. For the next 7 days, you are on a no-blame diet. If you are late, do not say traffic was bad. Say, I did not leave early enough. If you miss a deadline, do not say I was overwhelmed. Say I did not manage my focus. If you are broke, do not say the job doesn't pay enough. Say I have not increased my value enough. This shift in language rewires your brain. It moves you from the passenger seat to the driver's seat. It is painful at first. Your ego will scream. It hates being wrong. But you must crush the ego to free the spirit. The ego wants to be right. The spirit wants to be free. Choose freedom. Ultimately, the second decree is about integrity. It is about telling yourself the truth. The world may lie to you, but you must never lie to yourself. The alibi is a lie you tell yourself so often that it sounds like the truth. But deep down, in the quiet chambers of your soul, you know it is a lie. You know you could have worked harder. You know you could have taken the risk. You know you drifted. The second decree is the act of looking in the mirror and saying, no more lies. It is the act of stripping naked before the truth and admitting that you are the only variable that matters. This honesty is the foundation of all real growth. You cannot improve a lie. You can only improve the truth. So, burn the book. Burn the excuses. Burn the stories of why you can't. Stand in the ashes of your alibis and declare that you are ready to build. You are now naked of defenses, but you are clothed in power. You have nothing to hide behind, which means you have nowhere to go but forward. This is the position of the chosen man. He has burned the ships. He has burned the bridges. He has burned the alibis. He stands on the shore of his destiny with only his will and his law, and that is all he needs. The second decree is sealed. The alibi is dead. Long live the commander. Now, with the alibi destroyed, I must pause here to ask you a question that only you can answer. Are you listening to this merely as entertainment, or are you listening as a student of mastery? The words I am speaking are not just sound. They are seeds. But a seed cannot grow on a concrete floor. It needs fertile soil. That soil is your commitment. If you are ready to stop drifting, if you are ready to burn your alibis and start building, I ask you to make a small physical gesture of that commitment right now. Press the subscribe button on this channel. Turn on the notification bell. This is not about numbers. This is about alignment. By subscribing, you are telling your subconscious mind that you belong in this room, among the builders and the commanders. Do not let this moment pass without action. Join us. Now, let us enter the chamber of silence. We have established the authority of your self-selection, and we have burned the book of alibis that kept you chained to your past. Now, having stripped away the excuses and crowned yourself with responsibility, you face a new and more subtle terror. It is not the terror of the crowd, nor the terror of failure. It is the terror of silence. The third decree commands you to enter the chamber of solitude. This is the law that separates the frantic many from the focused few. You must understand that power is never born in the noise of the marketplace. It is not born in the applause of the audience. It is not born in the endless scroll of information that floods your mind every waking hour. Power is forged in the silence where only your decision can echo. The man who walks in his own law must be able to walk alone, not out of loneliness, but out of necessity. If you cannot bear your own company, why should anyone else? If you cannot sit in a room with your own thoughts without reaching for a distraction, it proves that you are not yet the master of your own house. You are a servant to the noise. The modern world is designed to destroy solitude. It is an industrial complex of distraction. Every notification, every headline, and every opinion is a calculated attempt to invade the sanctuary of your mind. Most men have become addicted to this invasion. They are terrified of the quiet because in the quiet, the truth speaks. In the quiet, they can hear the whisper of their wasted potential. In the quiet, they have to face the gap between who they are and who they promise to be. So they run to the noise. They fill every second with music, with podcasts, with conversation, with triviality. They confuse connectivity with connection. They believe that being plugged in means they are alive. But I tell you, if your identity requires constant external input to sustain itself, it is not identity. It is dependency masquerading as confidence. You are like a battery that cannot hold a charge, constantly needing to be plugged into the wall of public opinion. The third decree demands that you unplug. It demands that you become a generator of your own energy. You must distinguish between loneliness and solitude. They are opposites. Loneliness is the pain of being alone. It is a state of lack. Solitude is the glory of being alone. It is a state of abundance. In loneliness, you are desperate for others to fill you up. In solitude, you are so filled with your own purpose, your own vision, and your own connection to infinite intelligence that you overflow. The builder must step away from the crowd to see the blueprint. He must retreat into silence, not to escape the world, but to understand it. You must create a space where the opinions of the world cannot enter. You need a vacuum. Nature abhors a vacuum. And when you create a vacuum of silence in your mind, infinite intelligence rushes in to fill it with ideas, with plans, and with power. This is the secret of the masterminds. They did not get their greatest ideas from brainstorming sessions. They got them from the silence. Look at the giants of history. Henry Ford was known to disappear for long, solitary walks in the woods. His critics called him eccentric. They said he was antisocial. But Ford was not escaping people. He was escaping the contamination of small thinking. He needed to listen to the engine of his own mind without the interference of doubts. In those walks, The V8 engine was born. In those walks, the assembly line was conceived. His own mind became his counsel. This is the sign of the chosen man. He listens to his own counsel above all. If you are constantly polling your friends, your family, and the internet for advice, you are confessing that you do not trust your own authority. You are trying to build a committee to rule your life. But as we have established, no king is crowned by committee. You must learn to hold court with yourself. You must learn to be the judge, the jury, and the executioner of your own ideas in the privacy of your own mind. The third decree requires you to physically construct a chamber of solitude. This is not a metaphor. You need a physical space and a specific time. It might be a room in your house, a chair in the corner, or a park bench at dawn. It does not matter where it is, only that it is sacred. In this chamber, there are rules. No phone, no screen, no book, no voice. Just you, a notebook, and the silence. You must enter this chamber daily. This is the forge. When you first enter, your mind will rebel. It will scream for stimulation. It will remind you of your to-do list. It will make you feel anxious. This is the withdrawal symptom of a mind addicted to mediocrity. You must sit through the panic. You must sit there until the mud settles and the water becomes clear. You must sit there until the voice of the world dies down and the voice of your definite chief aim becomes the loudest sound in the room. What happens in this chamber? This is where you conduct the audit of your soul. This is where you bring your alibis to be executed. This is where you rehearse your identity. In the silence, you visualize yourself not as you are, but as you have chosen to be. You see yourself commanding the room. You feel the texture of your success. You speak your aim aloud. And because there is no one there to mock you, you speak it with fire. You let the vibration of your own voice reprogram your subconscious mind. This is where the emotional transmutation happens. You take the fear, the anger, and the frustration of the day, and in the alchemy of solitude, you convert them into determination. You cannot do this while scrolling through social media. You cannot do this while chatting with friends. Transmutation requires heat and pressure, and silence is the container that holds the heat. Beware the man who always needs to be seen. He is not building, he is performing. Performance without solitude breeds hollowness. It creates a shell of a man who looks powerful on the outside but is empty on the inside. One strong wind of adversity, and he collapses. But the man who vanishes to forge himself returns with density. He has gravitas. When he walks into a room, he does not need to shout to be heard. His presence speaks for him. He carries the stillness of the chamber with him into the noise of the world. He is the eye of the storm. While everyone else is reacting, panicking, and drifting, he stands unmoved. Why? Because he has already faced the hardest person he will ever meet himself in the dark. Once you have conquered yourself in solitude, the conquest of the world is mere child's play. The world cannot intimidate a man who has already sat in the silence of his own soul and found peace. This solitude is also your protection. If you are always accessible, you are always vulnerable. If anyone can reach you at any time, you have no boundaries. And a kingdom without borders is not a kingdom, it is a commons. You must build walls around your mind. The chamber of solitude is the fortress. It signals to the world and to yourself that your time is valuable, that your mind is sacred property, and that you are not a public utility. You are a private enterprise. Andrew Carnegie, one of the richest men who ever lived, was famous for his periods of seclusion. He understood that his mind was his greatest asset, and he protected it fiercely. He did not let the petty worries of the day invade his strategic thinking. He kept the door closed. You must learn to close the door. You must learn to say no to the good, so you can say yes to the great. You may fear that this solitude will make you lonely. You may fear that it will alienate you from your friends and loved ones, and in the beginning, it might. The drifters do not like it when one of their own stops drifting. When you stop engaging in their gossip, when you stop attending their pity parties, when you stop being available for their distractions, they will react. They will call you distant. They will say you have changed. Good. You are supposed to change. You are shedding the skin of the follower. You are entering the chrysalis of the leader. Do not apologize for your absence. Your absence is a gift to them because when you return, you will bring back something of value. You will bring back a vision. You will bring back a plan. You will bring back a strength that can lift them up. You cannot help the poor by being one of them. You cannot help the lost by being lost with them. You must go to the mountaintop to bring back the stone tablets. So, here is your instruction for the third decree. You must schedule your solitude with the same rigor that you schedule a business meeting. It is a meeting with the chairman of the board, your higher self. If you skip this meeting, you are firing yourself from the position of command. 1 hour a day. That is the price. If you say you do not have an hour, then you are admitting that you are a slave to your circumstances. A free man owns his time. A slave does not. Take the hour. Steal it from your sleep if you must. Wake up before the world starts its chaotic symphony. Sit in the dark. Light a candle if it helps. And simply exist as the authority. In that silence, ask yourself the hard questions. Am I drifting? Is this action moving me toward my aim? Who am I becoming? Listen for the answers. They will not come as a shout. They will come as a knowing, a sudden clarity, a feeling of absolute certainty. This is where you sharpen the sword. You cannot cut through the resistance of the world with a dull blade. Every interaction, every conflict, every setback dulls your edge. Solitude is the whetstone. You grind your will against the silence until it is razor sharp again. You do not leave the chamber until you are ready to slice through the day with precision. If you leave the chamber feeling weak, go back in. Do not enter the battlefield unarmed. The chamber of solitude is your armory. It is where you put on the armor of God, the shield of faith, and the helmet of salvation. It is where you remember that you are not a body with a soul, but a soul with a body. This perspective shift is what makes you invincible. Ultimately, the third decree is about love. It is about loving yourself enough to spend time with yourself. It is about respecting your potential enough to give it room to breathe. The noise of the world suffocates genius. Solitude oxygenates it. If you want to be great, you must be comfortable with being alone. You must find joy in the architecture of your own thoughts. You must become your own best friend and your own fiercest critic. When you can sit in that chamber and feel a sense of total completeness, needing nothing from the outside world to make you feel whole, then you are ready to conquer. Then you are dangerous, because a man who needs nothing is a man who can do anything. The world has no leverage over him. He is free. So, build your chamber. Defend it with your life. Let it be the womb of your greatness. Do not fear the silence. Embrace it as your oldest friend. In silence, you find command. In silence, you find God. In silence, you find the man you were always meant to be. The third decree is spoken. The chamber is open. Enter it, and do not come out until you are ready to rule. Now, fortified by silence, we must address the mechanism that shapes your reality in the fourth decree. We have cleared the weeds from the garden of your mind through the death of the alibi, and we have erected a fence around that garden through the chamber of solitude. Now, we must plant the seed. This brings us to the fourth decree, the ritual of identity. You must understand a fundamental law of the universe that most men go to their graves without ever grasping. You do not get what you want in life. You get who you are. Your bank account, your relationships, and your health are not determined by your wishes, your hopes, or your prayers. They are determined by your identity. Your identity is the thermostat of your life. If your internal thermostat is set to struggle, you will find a way to lose money, even if you win the lottery. If your thermostat is set to abundance, you will find a way to build a fortune, even if you start with nothing. Most people try to change their results without changing their setting. They work harder, but they do not become different. The fourth decree commands you to stop trying to change the world and start changing the man who perceives the world. You must construct a new identity, not by accident, but by ritual. Identity is not a fixed gift from birth. It is a construct. It is built brick by brick, thought by thought, repetition by repetition. The person you believe you are right now is simply a story you have repeated to yourself so many times that it feels like the truth. You have hypnotized yourself into being average. You have told yourself, I am not good at math, or I am shy, or I am unlucky so often that your subconscious mind has accepted these commands as law and works day and night to prove them true. But if identity can be built by unconscious repetition, it can be rebuilt by conscious ritual. This is the science of autosuggestion. It is the agency of control through which an individual may voluntarily feed his subconscious mind on thoughts of a creative nature. The subconscious mind is a biological supercomputer. It respects only one thing: repetition mixed with emotion. It does not care if the input is true or false. If you tell it a lie often enough, and with enough conviction, it will accept that lie as truth and begin to warp reality to fit the lie. You must now lie to your old self until the new self becomes the truth. This transformation requires a daily ritual. I call it a ritual because a routine is something you do mindlessly, like brushing your teeth, but a ritual is something you do with sacred intent. Your ritual must begin the moment you wake up. Most men start their day in reaction. They reach for their phone, they check the news, they scroll through social media. In the first 10 minutes of their day, they have already surrendered their mind to the agenda of the world. They have let the chaos of the world imprint itself upon their spirit. This is the habit of the slave. The chosen man plays offense, not defense. He has a ritual that programs his mind before the world has a chance to touch it. He understands that the first hour of the morning is the rudder of the day. If the rudder is set toward drift, the day will be lost. If the rudder is set toward aim, the day will be won. You must implement the ritual of the mirror. This is the most practical and powerful tool for identity shifting. You must stand before a mirror every single morning. Look into your own eyes. This is a confrontation. It is a meeting between the man you were and the man you are becoming. In that mirror, you must speak your definite chief aim aloud, in the present tense. Do not say, I hope to be. Say, I am. Say, I am the builder. I am the commander. I am earning this specific amount of wealth. I am the owner of this specific reality. As you speak these words, you are sending a direct command to your optic nerve, which feeds back into your brain, creating a feedback loop of authority. You are literally looking command in the face. In the beginning, this will feel foolish. This is the great filter. When you stand there and say, I am wealthy while your pockets are empty, your old self will laugh at you. Your logical mind will scream, you are a liar. You will feel a deep sense of cognitive dissonance. This discomfort is not a sign that you should stop. It is a sign that it is working. That tension you feel is the friction of tectonic plates shifting in your psychology. You are breaking the old agreement you made with mediocrity. You must persist through the awkwardness. You must persist until the laughter dies. You must persist until the words no longer feel like a lie, but like a prophecy. There will come a morning, perhaps in 3 weeks, perhaps in 3 months, where you look in the mirror and you do not see the old you anymore. You see the commander staring back. You see a glint in the eye that was not there before. That is the moment the program has taken hold. However, words alone are not enough. Autosuggestion fails for 99% of people because they treat it like a chore. They mumble their affirmations while brushing their teeth, thinking about their grocery list. This is useless noise. The subconscious mind does not speak English, or French, or Spanish. It speaks the language of emotion. A thought without emotion is like a car without fuel. It sits in the driveway. A thought mixed with emotion is like a car with nitro. It explodes into motion. When you do your ritual, you must generate the feeling of the wish fulfilled. You must induce the emotion of gratitude, of pride, of certainty. You must feel the weight of the gold in your hand before you hold it. You must feel the handshake of the deal before you sign it. You must trick your nervous system into believing that the success has already happened. When you combine a definite thought with a definite emotion, you create a magnetic signal that the infinite intelligence cannot ignore. This ritual is the mechanism of acting as if. You must understand that you do not sing because you are happy. You are happy because you sing. Action precedes feeling. Identity follows behavior. You must start walking like the man you want to be before you are him. You must start dressing like the man you want to be before you can afford the clothes. You must start making decisions like the man you want to be before you have his resources. This is not faking it. This is rehearsing. An actor rehearses his role until he becomes the character. You are rehearsing the role of the king until the crown fits. Do you think Thomas Edison waited until the light bulb worked to call himself an inventor? No. He held the identity of the man who will solve this through 10,000 failures. His identity was the constant. The results were the variable. Eventually, the variable had to match the constant. Your environment is also part of your ritual. You cannot build a cathedral in a sewer. You must audit your inputs. What are you reading? What are you watching? Who are you listening to? Every piece of information that enters your mind is either reinforcing your old identity or building your new one. There is no neutral input. If you are watching the news, you are programming fear. If you are listening to gossip, you are programming smallness. The fourth decree commands you to curate your reality. Flood your mind with the voices of the masters. Read the biographies of the titans. Listen to the philosophy of strength. Immerse yourself so deeply in the vibration of success that poverty becomes allergic to you. You want to reach a state where a negative thought feels foreign, like an intruder that must be immediately expelled. You must also understand the concept of the self-image. You can never outperform your self-image. It is the ceiling on your potential. If you see yourself as a $50,000 a year person, your subconscious will sabotage any effort to make $100,000. If you accidentally make more, you will lose it, spend it, or give it away to get back to your setting. The ritual of identity is about raising the setting. You are grabbing the dial of your thermostat and twisting it to maximum. You are normalizing success. You are making abundance your baseline, not your goal. When abundance becomes your normal, lack becomes the emergency, and the human animal fights like a tiger to escape an emergency. Right now, you are comfortable in lack and uncomfortable in risk. You must flip the script. You must become comfortable in risk and uncomfortable in lack. This ritual requires isolation from the skepticism of others. Do not share your mirror work with the world. Do not tell small minds that you are reprogramming yourself to be a giant. They will not understand. They will mock you. They will try to drag you back to their level of realism. Keep your ritual sacred. Keep it secret. It is the holy communion between you and your potential. The power accumulates in the silence. If you leak your intentions to those who do not understand the law, mente, you dissipate your power. Let your results be your only announcement. Let your transformed life be the only explanation you offer. The fourth decree is a demand for consistency. You cannot do this occasionally. You cannot do this only when you feel motivated. The subconscious mind learns through rhythm. If you miss a day, you slide back 2 days. You are fighting against years, perhaps decades, of negative programming. The gravity of your old self is strong. It wants to pull you back into the orbit of the drifter. The only way to reach escape velocity is through thrust that is constant and unrelenting. You must be a fanatic. You must be obsessive. You must treat this ritual as more important than your breakfast, more important than your job, more important than your sleep. It is the oxygen of your future. So, here is your instruction. Tomorrow morning, before the sun rises, you will stand before your mirror. You will stand tall. You will breathe deeply. You will summon the feeling of the commander, and you will speak your law. I am the one I have been waiting for. I am the architect of my fortune. I am the master of my fate. Say it until you believe it. Say it until the vibration of your voice shakes the doubt out of your bones. Say it until the face looking back at you changes. Because it will change. The eyes will clear. The jaw will set. The fear will vanish. And in its place, you will find the person who was there all along, waiting for you to give him permission to breathe. This is the ritual of identity. It is the forge of gods. Use it, and build yourself into something the world cannot ignore. Now, having built the new identity, we must do the necessary work of destroying the old one in the fifth decree. We have now arrived at the most violent and necessary part of your transformation. We have spoken of building, of planning, and of ritual. But you cannot build a skyscraper on a foundation of rotting wood. You cannot pour new wine into old wineskins. If you try to layer a new identity of power over an old identity of weakness, the structure will collapse under the pressure of life. Therefore, we enter the fifth decree, the execution of the old self. This is not a metaphor for self-improvement. This is a command for self-elimination. You must understand that the person you are right now, the person who has tolerated mediocrity, the person who has made friends with delay, that person is not capable of carrying the crown you have just claimed. That person must die. You cannot become new by keeping the old version of you alive on life support. You cannot ascend the mountain while carrying the corpse of your past self on your back. The greatest betrayal you can commit against your potential is to proclaim you have changed while still making decisions like the man you used to be. You are currently locked in a civil war. There are two entities fighting for control of your mind. There is the chosen self, the one who wrote the definite chief aim, the one who wants dominion. And there is the old self, the one who wants comfort, the one who is addicted to safety, the one who is terrified of the light. The old self is cunning. It knows your weaknesses better than anyone. It knows exactly what to whisper to get you to hit the snooze button. It knows exactly which distraction to offer you when the work gets hard. It knows how to dress up fear and call it logic. It will tell you that you are tired and deserve a break. It will tell you that the risk is too high. It will tell you that you can start tomorrow. But you must recognize this voice for what it is. It is not your friend. It is not your protector. It is a parasite. It feeds on your potential to keep itself alive. And like any parasite, if you do not kill it, it will eventually kill your dream. The fifth decree demands a ruthless intolerance for your own weakness. Most men treat their flaws like pets. They nurture them, they make excuses for them, they say, "That's just how I am." They say, "I've always been a procrastinator." This is the language of surrender. You must stop identifying with the traits that are destroying you. You must separate yourself from the old self. You must look at your laziness not as a part of your personality, but as an intruder in your home. If a stranger walked into your house and started stealing your furniture, would you make him coffee? No. You would remove him with force. Yet, you allow the habits of the old self to steal your time, your money, and your confidence, and you offer them a seat at the dinner table. This ends today. You must declare war on the old self. You must decide that there is no room in your future for the man who brought you to this point of stagnation. This process is an execution, not a negotiation. You cannot negotiate with a terrorist, and the old self is a terrorist holding your future hostage. You cannot compromise with cancer. You must cut it out. Andrew Carnegie understood this law of elimination. When he built his steel empire, he did not tolerate inefficiency. If a machine was outdated, he scrapped it immediately, even if it had cost millions. He did not try to fix it. He replaced it. You are the factory. Your habits are the machines. If a habit is not producing the profit of progress, it must be scrapped. You must be cold-blooded about this. If you have a habit of sleeping in, that habit must die. If you have a habit of mindless scrolling, that habit must die. If you have a habit of seeking validation, that habit must die. There is no sentimentality in success. Nature works by the same law. The snake must shed its skin to grow. If it clings to the old skin, it suffocates and dies. You are suffocating in your old skin. Shed it. The execution of the old self is not a one-time event. This is where most people fail. They attend a seminar, they read a book, and they have a funeral for their past. They feel great for 3 days, but on the 4th day, the old self rises from the grave. It creeps back in through the back door of complacency. It starts with small compromises, a skipped workout here, a negative thought there, a moment of hesitation. And before you know it, the old self is back in the driver's seat, and the chosen self is tied up in the trunk. The fifth decree requires daily vigilance. You must kill the old self every single morning. When you wake up, the old self wakes up with you. It is hungry. It wants to eat your day. You must strangle it before your feet hit the floor. You must assert your authority immediately. You look in the mirror and you say, "You have no place here. I am in command." To practically apply this decree, you must become an auditor of your own soul. At the end of every day, you must sit in judgment of your actions. You must review the film of your day like a quarterback reviews the game tape. You must ask the brutal questions. Where did I obey the old me today? Where did I drift? Where did I let fear make a decision? Be specific. Did you hesitate when you should have called the client? That was the old self. Did you get angry when you should have been stoic? That was the old self. Did you waste an hour on trivialities? That was the old self. You must name the betrayal. When you name it, you strip it of its power. You drag it out of the shadows and expose it to the light. And then, you must declare the corrective action. You must visualize how the chosen self would have handled that situation. You must replay the scene in your mind. But this time, you win. This retroactive rewriting of the day reprograms the subconscious mind for tomorrow. You must also understand that the old self will use your environment to survive. It lives in your old cues. It lives in the messy desk. It lives in the toxic friends. It lives in the junk food in the pantry. To execute the old self, you must alter the ecosystem. If you are trying to become a commander, does your environment look like the headquarters of a commander? Or does it look like the bedroom of a teenager? You must clean house, literally and metaphorically. Remove the triggers that the old self relies on. If you hang around people who celebrate your past, you will never reach your future. They remember who you were, and they will constantly remind you of it. Remember when we used to waste time doing this? Remember when we were broke? They are anchors. You must cut the chain. This is painful. It is a form of death. But you cannot have a resurrection without a crucifixion. You must be willing to walk away from the things and people that feed your weakness. The deceptive power of the old self lies in its appeal to comfort and balance. It will tell you that you are being too hard on yourself. It will tell you that you are obsessed. It will try to use the language of self-care to lure you back into self-sabotage. Do not be fooled. Comfort is the enemy of greatness. Balance is a myth for the mediocre. The eagle does not seek balance. It seeks altitude. The lion does not seek comfort. It seeks the kill. The chosen self thrives on pressure. It thrives on discipline. It thrives on the friction of growth. When you feel the resistance, when you feel the urge to quit, that is the death rattle of the old self. It is fighting for its life. Do not show it mercy. Press harder. The more it screams, the closer you are to freedom. You must realize that you are addicted to your old self. You are addicted to the chemical rush of your own familiar emotions, even if those emotions are negative. You are addicted to the feeling of stress, of worry, of pity. When you try to change, your body goes into withdrawal. It craves the old chemicals. This is why change feels physically painful. You are breaking a biological addiction to mediocrity. You must treat this with the same seriousness as breaking a drug addiction. You must be prepared for the withdrawal symptoms. You will feel empty. You will feel lost. You will feel like you are losing your mind. But you are not losing your mind. You are losing your chains. You must hold the line. You must persist through the void until the new chemicals of pride, power, and purpose begin to flood your system. Let us speak of the concept of burn the ships. When Hernan Cortés landed in the New World, he burned his ships to ensure his men could not retreat. The old self survives because it knows you have a retreat plan. It knows that if things get too hard, you will come crawling back to your old habits. You must destroy the retreat plan. You must make it impossible to go back. If you are starting a business, quit the job that acts as your safety net. If you are committing to fitness, throw away the fat clothes. If you are committing to a new standard, publicly declare it so that you would be humiliated to go back. When you remove the option of retreat, the old self suffocates. It needs the oxygen of maybe. Give it the carbon monoxide of never. The execution of the old self is the ultimate act of self-love. It sounds violent, but it is an act of liberation. You are freeing the masterpiece from the stone. You are freeing the butterfly from the chrysalis. The shell must break for the life to emerge. Do not mourn the shell. Do not weep for the old self. He was not your friend. He was your jailer. He kept you small. He kept you broke. He kept you afraid. When you kill him, you do not lose yourself. You find yourself. You find the limitless version of you that was trapped beneath the layers of fear and habit. You are not killing a part of you. You are killing a parasite that attached itself to you. So, here is your instruction for the fifth decree. Identify the one major habit that defines your old self. Is it procrastination? Is it fear of criticism? Is it sloth? Give it a name. Personify it. See it as a separate entity standing in your way. And today, declare its execution. Write down on a piece of paper. The old self died today. I serve the vision, not the voice of comfort. Burn that paper. Watch it turn to ash. This is a ceremonial act that signals to your subconscious that a transition has occurred. And from this moment on, whenever that old habit tries to surface, you simply say, "That man is dead. I am someone else now." You refuse to engage with the ghosts of the past. You walk forward, eyes fixed on the horizon, leaving the corpse of your limitations to rot in the grave you dug for them. The old self is dead. The king is alive. Long live the king. Now, we must seal this transformation with the solemn oath of the final decree. We have arrived at the final gate. We have traveled together through the hidden corridors of the mind, exposed the conspiracy of mediocrity, defined your chief aim, exorcised the ghosts of fear, and unlocked the rhythm of the cosmos. But now, you face the most dangerous moment of all. It is the moment when the video ends and the silence returns. This is the moment where 98% of people fail. They will nod their heads at the truth they have heard. They will feel a temporary surge of motivation, and then they will simply close the screen and return to the hypnotic rhythm of their old lives. They will treat this message as entertainment rather than instruction. I am here to tell you that knowledge is not power. Knowledge is only potential power. It becomes power only when it is organized into definite plans of action and directed to a definite end. If you do nothing with what you have heard today, you are worse off than the man who never heard it, for you are now sinning against the light. You know the way out, and if you choose to stay in the cage, you have no one to blame but yourself. Therefore, I am issuing you a final decree. This is not a suggestion. It is a command for those who wish to command their destiny. It is the oath of the commander. You must understand that a man who has chosen himself no longer walks as a question. He walks as an answer. His presence is no longer casual. It is grounded, measured, and deliberate. He speaks to order reality, not to impress the crowd. To embody this, you must take a solemn oath. An oath is different from a promise. A promise is often broken when circumstances change. An oath is binding regardless of circumstances. It is a covenant you cut with your own soul. The oath of the commander is a declaration that you are no longer available for the drift. It is a declaration that you have burned the bridges to your past and that the only direction allowed is forward. You must be willing to bet your entire life on the validity of your own vision. If you are not willing to bet on yourself, why should the marketplace? If you are not willing to invest your time, energy, and reputation into your own ideas, why should anyone invest their money? The oath is the ultimate investment. It is the act of going all in on the person in the mirror. I am asking you now to enter into a 90-day covenant with yourself. This is the protocol of the crown. Why 90 days? Because it takes roughly 90 days to rewrite the neural architecture of the brain, to break the chains of cosmic habit force, and to install a new rhythm of success. For the next 90 days, you will live by a different set of rules than the rest of the world. You will be in the world, but not of it. You will be building a sanctuary of power within your own mind. This is a season of total immersion. You cannot do this halfway. You cannot be a part-time commander. You are either on the throne or you are in the crowd. For these 90 days, you must ruthlessly eliminate anything that does not serve your definite chief aim. This means you must say no to distractions that you used to enjoy. You must say no to social obligations that drain your energy. You must say no to the cheap dopamine of entertainment. You are entering a period of monk-like focus. This is the price of the crown. Here is the instruction for the protocol. Your day must begin with the declaration of the law. Before you engage with the world, before you touch your phone, you must stand before your mirror and recite your definite chief aim aloud. You must look yourself in the eye and command your subconscious mind to hunt for the resources you need. You must say, I am the builder, I am the source, I am the force. This is not empty repetition. It is the calibration of your compass. If you do not calibrate your compass in the morning, the magnetic pull of the world's negativity will veer you off course by noon. You must also write your aim down in a notebook 10 times every single day. The act of writing is a psychomotor activity that imprints the idea deeper than reading alone. It is a physical manifestation of your mental intent. Do this until your hand cramps. Do this until the words are burned into your eyelids. During these 90 days, you must become an auditor of your own behavior. Every evening, you must hold court. You must review your actions with the cold detachment of a judge. Did you move the ball forward today? Did you hide from the hard work? Did you let the old self make decisions? If you failed, admit it. Do not make an alibi. Admit the failure, correct the course, and resolve to be better tomorrow. This nightly audit is the mechanism of self-correction. Most men drift for years because they never check their coordinates. They are off course by 1 degree, and over 10 years, that 1 degree lands them in a different destination entirely. You must check your coordinates daily. You must catch the drift before it becomes a current. You must be ruthless with your own time. Time is the raw material of your life. To waste it is to commit suicide on the installment plan. You must also prepare for the resistance. When you take this oath, the universe will test you. It will send you problems. It will send you doubts. It will send you people who try to drag you back to the bottom. Do not be surprised by this. Expect it. Welcome it. This is the resistance training for your character. Infinite intelligence does not trust its greatest gifts to cowards. It tests you to see if you are worthy of the gold. It tests you to see if you will think about quitting when the initial excitement fades. The amateur works only when he is inspired. The professional works when he is tired, when he is sick, and when he is uninspired. The oath of the commander is the commitment to be a professional. It is the commitment to show up and do the work even when no one is watching. I want you to fast forward in your mind. Imagine it is 90 days from now. You have kept the oath. You have not missed a day. You have spoken your aim. You have executed your plan. You have killed the alibis. Imagine the person you will be. You will walk differently. You will speak with a weight and a gravity that you do not currently possess. You will have results to show for your labor. You will have the quiet confidence of a man who knows he can trust himself. The world will look at you and say you got lucky. They will say you changed overnight, but you will know the truth. You will know the price you paid in the dark. You will know the battles you fought in the silence. That knowledge is the true reward. It is the unshakable foundation of self-respect. Now, imagine the alternative. Imagine you close this video and do nothing. Imagine you go back to your old routine. You wake up late. You complain about your job. You blame the economy. You distract yourself with noise. Fast forward 90 days. You are in the exact same place, with the exact same problems, feeling the exact same frustration. Only now, you are 90 days older, and the groove of mediocrity is dug a little deeper. The tragedy of life is not death. It is what we let die inside us while we live. Do not let your potential die. Do not let the vision you have seen today fade into the fog of regret. The pain of discipline weighs ounces, but the pain of regret weighs tons. You have to carry one of them. Choose your pain. The oath of the commander requires you to burn the ships. You must identify the safety nets that are keeping you comfortable in your poverty. Is it a credit card you rely on? Is it a toxic friendship you keep going back to? Is it a mental habit of quitting? You must cut the cord. You must make it painful to fail. As long as you have a comfortable place to fall, you will not fly. The wealthy man plays to win. The poor man plays not to lose. There is a massive difference. During this 90-day instruction, you are playing to win. You are betting on yourself. You are investing your time, your energy, and your focus into the asset of your own mind. This is the only investment that cannot be taxed, stolen, or destroyed. It is the only asset that travels with you. This is your decree. I cannot walk the path for you. I can only light the lantern and show you the way. The steps must be taken by your own feet. The fear must be conquered by your own heart. You have the tools. You have the map. You have the laws. The alibis are gone. The excuses are burned. You stand naked before the mirror of destiny. What will you choose? Will you be the drifter, blown about by the winds of chance, begging for scraps of approval? Or will you be the commander, the master of the helm, steering your ship toward the island of gold, regardless of the storm? The choice is yours, and the choice is now. This video is ending, but your life is just beginning. Do not wait for a sign. You are the sign. Do not wait for a savior. You are the savior. Seize this moment with both hands, and do not let go until you have wrung every drop of blessing from it. The throne is already yours. It has always been yours. But a throne cannot be given. It must be occupied. It requires a body to sit in it and a mind to rule from it. You are that body. You are that mind. The world is waiting for your order. Give it. Speak the word. Crown yourself. And may the infinite intelligence that governs the stars guide your hand as you write your new destiny. The time for waiting is over. The time for command is now. Go become the proof. The decree has been read. The law has been set. Now, the execution belongs to you. If you have accepted this coronation, if you have decided that the days of drifting are over, then leave your mark before you go. Subscribe to this channel as a symbol of your new alliance. Share this message with one other person who needs to wake up. And finally, go to the comments section below and write these words. I crown myself. Let the world see your signature. Let the universe hear your command. The time is now. Go.